Hello, YouTube. No, I don't know, but I just want to share like a happy story, a quick video. This will be a quickie as I'm in my new room. I'm in a room now. I have a door. It has a desk and windows. There's the door. But I digress. And I had the craziest thing happen today. So if you follow me, you may know about my Reddit where I've posted about my the missing bud debacle and the mostly imaginary brotherly feud, where me and my brother had a big argument before about silliness, but he got a little mad and I got mad at him getting mad, and then we kind of had a negative feedback loop of us getting mad at each other, and we haven't really been on good terms since then. And then today he texted me. He's gone. Him and most of my family, everyone except my dad, is gone on a trip right now. And we have 2 dogs here, and one of those dogs is terrified of me. And oh man, now there's a sound coming from outside. I hope that's not too annoying. Oh well. So he, that dog is terrified of me, and the other dog I love and kind of consider my dog. And so my brother, I guess it totally took me off guard because, okay, so yesterday I see this bag on the table. There's dog stuff in it, and I didn't actually see it. My dog, the one who isn't terrified of me, started sniffing it out, and he got me to pick him up and put him on the table because he was so excited. And then he stuck his head in the bag, and he found there's a toy in there, which he's sucking on right now. I'm bad at aiming this. See, he loves to suck on toys. That's his thing. And so of course I gave it to him. I barely even thought about it. I think it did cross my mind. I'm like, I hope this wasn't for Rosie, but at the same time, Max really wanted it, and so I just gave it to him anyways and barely gave it a second thought. And so then today, I get a text from my brother, who, like, the last text we exchanged was our fight, pretty much. Like, I think there was one little conversation in between there. And so then I get this text where he opens with something. He called me a cunt, basically, which I don't mind. But last time in our fight before, he got really mad when I called him one of those. So I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's basically like, "Oh, you fucking cunt! You gave Max Rosie's toy. You're straight evil. How could you do that?" Like, he was like that kind of mad at me. And this time, I felt the heat, the fire rise in me, but I'm like, nope, not acting on that, not engaging. I think my first response was, my first response was LOL what? Because actually at first I was kind of wondering if this was even real. I'm like, how could this be? What is he mad at me about? But then he told me. And so then I said something like, I love you, brother. Let's talk about this in person. I'm not going to do this arguing over text again, because our whole last fight was over text as well. And I'm like, I bet if we actually looked each other in the eyes, we would be handling this much more maturely and like with love, because we love our family, both of us. We used to have a good relationship, he and I. We don't want to fight. That's what I believe. And so I said that, and then he's like, I don't love you one bit, or how could you're like, I don't think he called me a monster, but he did say that I don't love you one bit thing. And he's like, yeah, and he said, when I get back, I'm gonna give you something. I'm like, then I kind of, my like fight instinct gets in a bit, and I'm like imagining when he gets back, I'm like running scenarios in my head because of that. But I'm like, nope, I'm not engaging with this. And so my last reply was, I just told him what happened. I told him how Max sniffed it out, and I gave it to him. I said, oh yeah, because he said to me, anyone with a heart would give that to Rosie, who's all alone. How could you give it to Max, kind of thing? And I'm like, bro, I barely even thought about it. Max sniffed it out. I gave it to him. There was no heart involved. I didn't even think about it. And then I thought to myself, I'm doing magic these days. Why don't I actually try to ask these energies that I'm invoking to help? Well, first I thought I'm going to do my banishing ritual to just clear this energy in me, because it's really uncomfortable. I don't like the energy of conflict, and I was glad that the fire didn't reach my brain, like I didn't possess me, but I felt it in me, and I wanted to balance it out. And so I did my version of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, which right now, for me, I add 4 extra pentagrams with Ararita, and I also add the archangels, the energies of the Tree of Life in a cross, in an X around my 4 things. It's kind of hard to explain, and it's also vertical, but it's beside the point. So I did my thingy, and then before, at the end of it, there's a line where, in this version I'm doing of it now, there's a line where it says, where you give the license to depart. And before I said that, I prayed, I asked them, I explained the situation to these energies, because I feel them, right? As I'm invoking them, I feel it in an aura around me. And I've had a lot of experiences actually talking to things. I don't even know if that was them, because I'm not sure if these energies actually have voices, or if they, that's also beside the point. So I started asking, I started saying what happened, and I'm asking them to repel the negative energy around him, to help heal him, because I feel like this isn't, he's a good lad. I was saying that he's a good kid, he's a good feller, he loves the family. I'm sure he doesn't want to be mad, and so I was asking that kind of stuff. I'm getting a little emotional as I think about it, because literally in the middle of asking it, I get replies from him, and I'm like, I even said to the entity things, the energies, angels, I'm like, well, there's messages. I'm not even going to look at them. I saw the little bar pop up ahead on top of my phone as I was holding my phone, because that's where the lines are that I still haven't memorized. And I saw that he replied to me again, but I refused to look at it, because I was like, I don't want to contaminate my prayer for him with the conflict energy. And so I concluded the ritual, and then I looked at what he said, and those very messages that he sent me while I was asking for help for him was him apologizing and saying, like, he's sorry he got so mad, and that he didn't realize that that's how the situation went, and that what happened on his end was he was just eating with the rest of the family that's with him there, and they just laughingly said, like, oh, Josh gave Rosie's toys to Max. Oh. And that really hurt his feelings, kind of thing, which is understandable. So I said to him immediately, like, I was kind of tearing up then, because I'm like, fuck me, like, that worked. Like, I mean, I was hoping it would, but I didn't think it could happen. So even now, part of me is like, coincidence? But I like to believe in it. It seems I want to. It's like, man, seriously, I did some moves, I called down some energy, I asked some intent, I closed the ritual. Before I even closed it, what I asked for was given. And I'm happy. It's hard to describe how happy I am about that, because I don't like being in conflict with my family, with anyone really, but particularly people I live with, particularly people who I love, and I don't even want to be in conflict with, because like we were only in a fight because we were in a fight. Like, we got mad at each other, getting mad and madder and at each other's madness. Like, the actual issue was stupid. Like, just like here, it was just a misunderstanding. It's like, we both love these dogs, and so when he apologized, then I'm like, okay, let's take this further. And I said, I can't remember but basically that I would go buy Rosie a toy, and I'm like, let's like give and take. And then he sent me money to go buy her a new toy, and like it's just so interesting. It's like a giving reconciliatory nature. But anyways, I just wanted to share how magic maybe works. I mean, sure, maybe a naysayer would just say, well, isn't it more likely that your brother just came to his senses instead of your magic helping him? Maybe. I don't really care how it worked. I'm just glad that I didn't get mad, and he is no longer mad at me. And now things are nice. And now I have an excuse to go buy the dog some more toys, because they love toys. Max has even done sucking on his now. He's all happy. Everyone's happy. This is a happy tale. Farewell.